Okay, so Quincy and I, we're
Hi.
in the middle of a out of YouTube conversation before we were going to record our next thing.
And we hit on a particular subject that we both love, I think, a lot.
Yeah, we're having an not out of character discussion, but while we were getting prepped for our next one, we got into a talk about comic books, comic book movies, Batman vs. Superman, and all that stuff. And, I said, okay, well, we've been talking about this too long. Why don't we just record this and make it an episode? So that's where you're coming into a conversation already in progress a little bit. So, I told Quincy that I am not really a comic book reader.
And that's fair, because not many people these days are. The only reason that they've gotten any real attraction is due to their movie counterparts or their TV show counterparts. That being both animated and live action. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think a lot of people are going to read the Daredevil comics a lot more because of... You shouldn't. Because the show looks...
comic fans going to get mad.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, if you're expecting that kind of grit and stuff from Daredevil... like that the Netflix show is going to give, you're going to be sorely disappointed. If you want that kind of grit, read Batman or The Punisher. That's the kind of grit that only that these kind of ways are going. People hated The Punisher. People hated certain Batman comics because they go into such a dark center. But because that's the way Nolan went, because that's the way CW's going, it's actually become the norm, and that's what gets me confused. I felt the same way when Iron Man came out. Like, why are you guys so attracted? You used to hate on me. You used to bully me for being a comic book fan, and now you guys are loving it. I didn't know whether to punch them or invite them. I don't know. It's become a weird world.
Yeah, that's the thing. I followed before the New 52 reboot, Batman, Superman, and on the Marvel side, I followed Spider-Man until they did One More Day. And then I followed the Ultimate Universe for a while. And then they killed off Peter Parker and made Miles Morales.
Yeah.
And nothing against Miles Morales before we go there.
No, it's just Peter Parker's been the iconic.
They killed him off. They killed him off so Miles Morales could do it.
They did it for diversity and not for the sake of transition.
Yeah, but that's my thing. They didn't have Peter go, hey, son, you can be the new Spider-Man. They felt the need to kill off Peter Parker.
Because transition and racial equality. Black kids can also be Spider-Man, even though this character is completely implausible.
Well, but my whole thing is, Peter Parker didn't pass on the mantelpiece.
He never did. He never had an heir.
No, but he didn't go to Miles Morales and say, hey, you can be Spider-Man. There's a scene in one of the last Ultimate Spider-Man books before Miles Morales comes in, I can't remember exactly which one, where he gets, I think, impaled or something. And so Mary Jane and Aunt May are there, and he's like, I'm sorry I failed you both. And dies. And he's dead. That's how they bring in Miles Morales. He dies. And he says, I'm sorry I failed you. And it's like...
Oh, it's okay. We forgive you. We get a new Spider-Man.
Yeah. And that's why I hate
The Spectacular Spider-Man is my particular favorite, that being Doc Ock. Because, yeah, it doesn't make any sense that a villain would be Spider-Man. And I have not read the origin story. I just got into the mix of it. But he seems like a very more knowing, and not knowing, very more in-depth.
Very more knowing. That's a good sentence.
Shut up. Very more... contemplative and very organized, very thorough Spider-Man. His inventions are a lot cooler than what Spider-Man builds. His uses of the webs are actually a lot more cooler than what Spider-Man builds. And there's an actual arachnid legs on him, like the little sharp legs that make him look like an actual physical spider. Kind of like how the Batman has the cape for the wing effect. That's his effect for the Spider-Man, and I think that's pretty cool. So people can get confused whether he's an actual person or a beast. I think that's cool.
I tried to follow comics again because of the New 52. But then I read the New 52.
Beast Boy is red.
Harley Quinn is a psychopath.
She was always a psychopath, but a cute psychopath.
A dark goth-like girl.
Yeah. And if you don't understand why, if you played Injustice, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, like.
The ending, if you haven't played Injustice, play Injustice.
Play Injustice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it has
that's
the
one
best...
of my favorite parts that have come back from the people like who made superhero video games, and I mean superhero video games like Superman 64. They were trying to get onto the train of what comic books are trying to do. Aquaman, something.
Battle for Atlantis.
Yeah, Battle of Atlantis. I love John Frank's discussion because that's what. I mean, really, this was just a cash grab on what the comic book world is trying to establish. But now they've actually created stories to go with the cool dynamics of video games. I read the comic book because I loved the game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a great storyline. I thought it was a good dynamics. Like you actually get to see all these characters intermingled that you wanted to see intermingled. There you go, because of a kind of like how I wanted Owlman once to meet Batman, and I saw Infinite Crisis. I'm like, yeah, it's about right.
Yeah.
The Crisis on Two Earths. Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't like a lot of the things they did. I don't like what they've done with the Teen Titans. Oh, and this is before the soft reboot that's coming in a few months, apparently.
What soft reboot?
Of the DC universe.
I hope that goes well.
Me too. Because the thing is...
Their track records, and we don't just mean in comic books, I mean their entire track record.
Yeah, we're getting onto the movies, but right now we're on the comic books. From a comic book fan and a comic book enthusiast, but not completely fan. I said to Quenspy, I really wish that comics, that they weren't, I won't say free, but like...
Cheaper.
If there's a... Yeah, well,
you need to go to a comic book store. They're about $1 a piece.
Not my comic book store, man.
Mine used to, the one I used to go to was $50 to $1 a piece.
$8. Yeah, well, the books at my local comic book store are like $8, $9 a book.
Well, that's insane, and they should be shut down for that.
They aren't. They've been going for like...
That's bullshit.
Yeah, but that's my whole thing. It's like, that's my whole thing with comic books. The reason I don't read is that with reboots of things I know like Batman, they just change too much. And I do like the Scott Snyder Batman, and I did like Son of Batman before they killed off Damian Wayne. Yeah, I like Damian.
I think one of the greatest storylines in comic books to me is... Oh, actually, that's a handful. I have my top 5. Any multi-world kind of story, like that's how the introduction of Spider-Gwen got created, because of it.
Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen is amazing, and I'll have you know, don't you doubt her. Any story with multiple Earths has a great dynamic. Second, oh my god, the Flashpoint paradox is so good. Or it's called Flashpoint in the comics. It's a great dynamic between the Flash and his enemies, and also it deals with time travel issues, which is kind of more in depth for a comic book to do. And this one I had to debate with myself between Winter Soldier and Blackest Night. Blackest Night is incredible because it brings back so many good characters that had been killed off, not for pointlessness, but to challenge the current heroes, to challenge them to doubt themselves. They kind of force them to try to deal with the issues they've had in the past right after they've moved on. It is such a great time. You literally have to face death to move on, or be succumbed by it. It is literally what mourning would be like. I look at that as like an actual tale of mourning. So, that's my favorite comic book of all time.
For some reason, I wish that instead of comic book universes rebooting, completely.
Yeah.
Just say, okay, this is another universe. So the stuff you grew up on, at least for me, the past 20 years, stuff that's still there.
Yeah.
Instead of, okay, well, no, it works this way. Like, I can understand, going from, like, Tim Burton to Christopher Nolan. I can understand, that's a reboot. That's its own thing.
Right.
But to just go to the comics, that's been running for 20 years, 60 years, however long the Batman stories that I grew up on were around, and then just say, whew,
all gone.
All gone.
I would say the same thing about the Star Wars canon, just completely erased, but that's for another discussion.
Yeah.
We'll
see what's kept in canon with these new 20 books for that.
You're getting onto a subject I get sensitive about. There is the diverse canon stories, because then you go into TV shows and the movies, and I mean they're comic books. You have to understand, at the end of the day, they're comic books. They're made up stories. They're made up characters that you still can relate to, stories that you can still feel that you probably can relate to, but they are fiction. And with fiction, you don't have to always have an established storyline. If the storyline makes sense for the character, like Christopher Nolan's, it's executable. Some, like the New 52, really aren't. But then again, they're the property owners. They are allowed to do what they can because this is their creation.
But that's the thing. Like, I don't mind them doing New 52 books. I don't mind them starting over with Batman again. But here's one thing I do mind. Okay, so I don't look at the DCU for comics anymore. I'm sorry, I don't. There was the Scott Snyder Batman. There was I think it was Detective Comics. And then there was Batman Incorporated, and then there was Son of Batman.
You mean Zack Snyder Batman?
Scott Snyder. He's the writer. Not Zack Snyder.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he's still working on it, but he was. And there were 3 books in this New 52 that were Batman related, but they were all different from each other. Which books correlate? Are all these 3 part of the reboot? Are they separate? Are they interwoven? What? There's no way to tell.
I haven't read the New 50 the New 50 the 50 Foods. The 50 Foods. I've not read the New 52. Because I went to I started reading the Teen Titans. I kind of lost. And
I
didn't lose it.
And
I
then when they
kind
did
of
the
lost
Hunger
interest.
Games, basically.
Yeah.
Then the Teen Titans did the Hunger Games, and the world was sad. If you're not aware of what I'm talking about, it's called The Culling. Yes, that does sound like a sex act.
Wow.
Like, Guardians of the Galaxy has come out. I never read Guardians of the Galaxy.
I haven't either. I tried to read some of the prologues. It didn't make a little... I mean, I didn't get to read the backstory, so I jumped into it, and sometimes just the worst thing you can do for a comic book is that's why people lose interest.
And why it's hard to get new fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand why they reboot universes.
Yeah.
But, like, when you have 3 Batman books, Detective Comics, Son of Batman, and Batman, I think Batman Incorporated was something different, but still.
I want to see a Death in the Family movie.
You have all these different books during the relaunch. Which book do I pick up? How does Little Billy...
I think that's what's great about a comic book, is you don't know what to expect. You don't know...
No, but like, let's just say if movies work that way.
Go pick up Sin City if you're Little Billy.
No, but like...
No.
Let's pretend all these... There were 3 Batman films that came out, and I know this isn't exactly how it worked in the real world. Okay, but let's say The Dark Knight Returns came out, or The Dark Knight came out, the one with Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Okay, then Batman and Robin by Joel Schumacher.
Ugh.
And Batman the Movie, the one with Adam West and Burt Ward.
Huh. That's a good point.
Okay, but then let's say this. They are released 3 weeks apart from each other.
Why would you do that?
How the heck do people know
which one's the real Batman?
Yeah.
You shoot all 3 of them. Isn't that what you usually do in a scenario like that? You shoot all 3 to make sure you kill the right one?
No, but my whole thing is like...
I'm the imposter! No, I'm the imposter! We're all the imposter!
No, but when Batman... I think it was Batman and Robin. Maybe it was Batman Forever. Batman Mask of the Phantasm came out.
That was a good one.
Yeah. But nobody saw it, because they thought it was... They thought it was some kind of prologue or something to the Joel Schumacher movie. I'm not sure if it was Batman and Robin or
Poor dude.
What's the other one?
Poor guy who made that.
The Jim Carrey. What's that
Batman. Isn't that Batman? Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. Yeah.
No, Batman. Or was that? I thought Batman Forever was the
Val Kilmer one.
Yeah. Okay, that is the Val Kilmer one. Then what was the one with Penguin?
That was Batman Returns.
Why does Batman have to be the one who gets on the name? Why can't we just have aliases again, like the Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader? That actually could be a cool reboot name, the Caped Crusader.
Yeah, but that's my point.
And you know what? They don't even have to make it about Batman. Well, I mean Bruce Wayne. They can make it about Dick Grayson being the Caped Crusader.
Yeah. But that's my thing with that. Just imagine if those movies were released like that.
I get your point. I really do.
Okay, and then, okay. So after that, there comes out... a
TV series.
No, there comes out Batman and Robin. Since Batman Forever came out.
No.
Okay, and then there came...
No.
Wait, okay. So there comes out Batman and Robin. And then there comes out a sequel to the Adam West movie, which never happened, but for this we're going to say it does. And then there came The Dark Knight Rises. Once again... all released 3 weeks from each other.
It seems like a terrible marketing plan.
That's exactly how it, at least for me, it felt like with the New 52.
With the comic books, right?
Yeah. Which book do I pick up?
Yeah.
The Detective Comics and the Batman.
Pick up the Killing Joke. That's a good one.
Yeah. But that's my point. It's like, which one do I pick up? Do they relate? Are they completely different? And some people say that Son of Batman was in canon.
Right. So let me get my point. You're questioning the continuity of comic books.
No, but some people said Son of Batman was in continuity with the universe I grew up in before the reboot. And I'm like, but I thought the whole point of the reboot was not to have the continuity. That's my point. That's why I don't read comics. And I'm sorry to comic book fans. Like, I want to, but...
It is a big issue with comic books that you can lose your fans just by destroying the continuity or creating new continuity. A continuity of an old bygone era, and like I said, destroying the continuity of a current era. Yeah,
well, like, here's the thing. Here's what I would do. Now, this is going to be fanficky. I would create... I would say, okay, well...
Oh, Catwoman, you're so good.
What?
I said, oh, Catwoman, your lips taste so good. I mean, face lips.
But, like, what I would do is be like, okay, well, all the main books, like Batman, Superman, and Flash, let's just take those from the New 52, are all in the same continuity because they star... the hero. Like, it just says Batman, Green Lantern, Flash. And then say books like The Son of Batman takes place in his own continuity. And maybe that is how it works. But I can't pick up, Superman number 84 because he does a crossover with Batman, which leads back to something in Batman's original book. I'm like, wait, then I have to pick up another book, which I don't read, and I'll probably have to read older issues to figure out what's going on.
It's like a Wikipedia page, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but, like, that's my thing. Like, that's why I like TV shows like Arrow. Because you know what? Arrow is one continuity. Flash and Arrow, they're in the same universe. But that's it. Like,
there is continuity to it. I think that's what's great about TV shows, that they have a little more liberty, but also... more structure than you could with a comic book.
Yeah.
And same with the movie franchise, technically, because you are creating an established universe. That being said, I don't consider anything by Tim Burton or Joel Schumacher canon.
Yeah. But that's my thing. Like, you've created the Nolanverse, which has nothing to do with Tim Burton or Joel Schumacher or, anything like that. It's its own thing. I can dig it. If comics worked like that, if I picked up one series in a thing, like if I just picked up regular Batman, I wouldn't have to worry about things except maybe an occasional crossover with the regular universe Superman book.
Hi, I'm Wonder Woman. Yes, you are. Goodbye.
But yeah, so I guess we've rambled long enough about comic books.
Not on to comic book movies.
Yeah.
People have asked me whether the DC universe movies from this point on, especially Batman vs Superman, are going to be any good. And I can tell you point blank, no. And I can tell you why right here. The build-up isn't good enough. You're putting up so much hype, and you haven't given any reward for it.
We have not gotten a single trailer for Batman vs.
We've gotten
Superman.
pictures, but we don't know any. You can actually slip a fake script for us just to give us some more rumor.
Anything. I mean, we've gotten pictures, and apparently there was something shown at Comic-Con.
And a lot of the characters we would look forward to in a Justice League movie aren't going to be there. Like Martian Manhunter, or the Hawk Girl, or Hawkman for that matter. They have a good dynamic.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, why Avengers worked is because they took so much time to build it up.
And you're just throwing it on us right now.
You're just like, here are all the characters, Justice League next year.
If the Batman franchise had been a build-up to the Justice League, yes, the hype would be completely different and we'd be so excited. Because then we'd be looking for the Man of Steel, and then we'd be taking our time because Avengers took so much time. We'd have that same feel, and I don't remember feeling this way when Avengers came out. I just got more and more excited because I had a lot of good movies to reference. I had a lot of good movies to reference to look forward to. There's nothing for reference in this case except for Man of Steel, which by itself is a standalone movie is pretty good. But if you use it as a build-up film, as a standalone film for a build-up, it doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. It took an entire it took years for the Marvel Universe to build up to that kind of hype for Avengers. And even if you can pull off the hype, this is why the future movies are going to suck. The Marvel Universe has created an extended world beyond our own in the universe. Different worlds from Asgard to I love the second Thor film for the fact we got to see how large the Marvel Universe really is. You can because that giving us that show of how many realms and such there are. And when you create like that, it's well executed. The way they did is well executed. Even if
I may interrupt, I have something to actually say here.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if I said this earlier because we did, as I said, we had a conversation before we started recording. But I never read Guardians of the Galaxy. I never read the comics.
No. I'm not talking about what the comic book universe set up. I'm talking about.
But wait, no, I'm still on my point. I only went to see that movie because Chris Pine and Zoe Saldana and Karen Gillan were in it. I didn't know anything. What did I say?
Chris Pine. Chris Pine. Is Captain
Chris Pratt.
Kirk.
Emmett from the Lego Movie.
Yeah.
I went to see it because they were in there, and I had a blast. It was amazing. But they show Thanos for a minute there,
which is good enough for me. He's exactly what I pictured Thanos to be. He's got the voice I pictured Thanos to be. There's so much buildup, and with it coming out almost a month from now, this is a good time to kind of tell how hyped I am that the next Avenger movies is on the way. Mm-hmm. Because that will build up to the third Marvel Universe, which will be the big setup for the final showdown of the Avengers versus their ultimate villain. And who knows where they'll go from there? Who knows what the Phase 4 will go? What do you do after a Thanos showdown? Maybe they'll go into Infinite Earths. Mm-hmm. That would be incredible. Then we can have our Spider-Gwen. Then we can have Spider-Man 2099. That would be incredible. A multiverse of Spider-Mans, a multiverse of Iron Mans, a multiverse of Caps. That and different Hulks. We can have a Red Hulk for once. Once you bring... See, there are so many possibilities of what the Marvel Universe has created. The DC Universe is only... What they're working on is an established universe. They're only working with what they have, not what they can do. The Marvel Universe took their creative minds and said, we can take these great ideas and make them better for a presentable universe. DC is saying, okay, let's take what they are, make some storylines... With the limitations of what we can do with reality, they're not opening up their heads. That's my problem with DC movies, is that they're not being as creative as they could be. DC comic books are more absurd, if not crazier, than Marvel comic books, especially with characters like the Martian Manhunter, or or Fate. There's a guy named Fate. There's a man who can walk inside bodies.
Ooh, cool.
Yes, yeah, there is a character. I can't remember his name off the top of my moment. I'll probably pause the video so I can present that. But there are just an absurd amount of things you can do with this universe. You could make a build up to Blackest Night. You can make a build up to Infinite Worlds, like Marvel's trying to do, or could be doing. We don't know. Bringing back to my point about in a large world, what they were trying to do with Green Lantern was trying to do that. They were trying to show us how big the DC universe really is. Unfortunately, the writing was terrible. The acting was limited as much as we could. It's enjoyable as a standalone film, don't get me wrong, but if you're trying to make it as part of the large DC universe that you're trying to compete with Marvel, it's not going to work. Because now we have to bring it back to Earth and Krypton, which is a limited universe. You have so many worlds. You can go to Mars, because Martian Manhunter has a cool setup going on in Mars. You can go to Hawkgirl and Hawkman's world. A very, how do I describe it? Very high society, but also very stern kind of world. Something like it's something out of Doctor Who. You could literally probably take the animators from Doctor Who and create worlds with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is you keep it to Earth, and if you keep it to Earth, you fail to expand on the larger universe of the DC world. When you have so many threats coming from different worlds, Superman can travel through space, and he gets kidnapped a lot by Ravagers and that kind of stuff. You know, Brainiac steals him many occasions. Well, in different versions. You could have a movie about him being stolen, and you can show us the entire DC universe by him traveling in Brainiac's ship. There are so many opportunities. And that's why I feel like anything that they try to do at this point is just a rush to try to build up to the hype, or try to create as wide a range as the Marvel Universe has tried to do. And they won't. They will not succeed at this point in time, unless they can expand their minds and go into and just accept this is a comic book world. We can do better. We can create wondrous things if we have the right writers, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy takes place in what, 4 worlds? Like, you know, we go to 4 different planets, right?
Yeah.
You go.
If you'd let me finish my point, as long as we're back on Guardians of the Galaxy, as long as we've circled around.
Well, no, my point. I was just going to say we've gone on different worlds. And that's in 1 movie. We've only gone on 2 planets within 4 movies.
Yeah.
3 planets if you include the Oa, which I don't because that's a standalone film. And now back to my friend's point.
But my point is, you see Thanos, and at the end of the movie, you see Howard the Duck.
Which is brilliant. I love it.
Which is brilliant. But what I'm saying is, you know what? I totally... can see a movie where the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy
and Howard the Duck
exist. No, I'm serious. I can see it together. It seems like a coherent universe.
You could literally throw Howard the Duck in the middle of this, and it would make sense. I don't know why, but it would. Because Marvel's that good.
Yeah.
We have a Scarlet Witch. We have X-Men. They won't say they're X-Men, but they are. They are X-Men within this limited universe. Yeah. And they managed to pull that off, and I'm so proud of them that they could. Because if they can at least leak that, and we have Spider-Man coming, which means Sony gave us the rights to that.
Mm-hmm. But then that means another reboot.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Actually, altogether, the walls may crack. The walls of Sony may crack. The walls of Fox may crack. Specifically with their credit with comic books right now, but that's another discussion.
But my point is, even with Howard the Duck in there, I still felt like I could see the Guardians of the Galaxy fighting alongside the Avengers.
Oh yeah, it's just, I can see, and with the Inhumans coming, and they'll be part of the unit, with Stephen Strange, we'll have a diverse amount. We'll have multiple storylines. That's why I like the fact that it's going to be a part 1 and part 2, because you'll have an immense amount of characters that kind of, bring into this world. And even with a 3-hour movie, Dark Knight, just the Dark Knight long style, there's no way you'll be able to pull off all these storylines.
Yeah, and I just want to say this for the video. If you hear me clicking, I'm actually doing research to try and bring things up while we are talking.
Oh, I'll be putting in a lot of photos and references in the meantime.
Yeah, so I just don't want you guys to think that we are...
bored.
We're bored.
No, this is our bread and butter right here.
Yeah, this is what we do.
This is our tea.
Yeah, this is what we do.
This is our
so
cup of tea.
I'm doing research while we're talking on this.
Well, me and him were just talking about where they should go with the Green Lantern universe. And I think it should be the Green Lantern universe that they expand on next, and I'm so glad that they're rebooting it. Because if you want to talk about world traveling, the Green Lantern is the perfect one, considering there's a spectrum of aliens with different powers, so you can see expansions
and literally different colors.
Different colors, yeah, different colors, different spectrums, but also but each one has different races. Atrocitus, the Red Lanterns, I actually have a ring of theirs, has an immensement of people who are angry at their worlds being destroyed, either by the Green Lanterns or other civilizations, which makes sense. A lot of what the universe of DC makes sense for what they are. The problem is the execution. Anything that Marvel could have done with these characters, DC had just the amount of right to do it, except they didn't have the right writers, or they didn't have the right execution, the right actors. Because these worlds do make sense. In a way, there are fish people, because they're water worlds. I love that movie. That was a great movie. There are desolate worlds. There are different hideouts. There are different places you can go. Sinestro Corps makes so much sense, and especially the character. He's a man who used to be driven by will, but because of the people he loved, and he's seen so much destruction, he does not want to lose his planet. He has seen what power can do. He has seen what the Red Lanterns can do. He's seen what the Orange Lanterns can do. There's only one though.
But that's my thing. The DCU, Quincy has told me that Ben Affleck as Batman is not going to have any continuity with the Christopher Nolan movies.
Why? I would love it to see an older version of
Christian Bale's character, even if
no,
it's
not Christian, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's.
But that's my thing.
Because then you can go into the Dark Knight Returns storyline.
Yeah. And that's my point. It just seems like, okay, well, then that means...
instead of having it overrun by mutants, you can have it overrun by villains. And then you can have the Joker come in, and Harley.
Yeah, and not be Heath. If you were afraid to recast because of his death, well, now he's like
a good actor. He's a good actor, but, why do it now? My question is, why do it now when you had the opportunity years ago?
Yeah, but my point is that then that means I am sure they're not going to... They might, for Batman versus Superman, just have it, but I'm sure if they're going to make Batman part of this Justice League thing, I guarantee you they're going to do another origin Batman story.
And considering they're going to have to do part origins with Aquaman, or just plain up explain, I'm from Atlantis, I have cool powers.
Atlantis exists in this world? Nothing in any of the DC universe, Nolan versus
that is what I was, I was just thinking to myself when I was watching Man of Steel the other day. I said, there's no way Superman flew over a water and didn't see a civilization under there. Or we saw him go through the tropics. I'm like, how did we not see some sword fighting going on there?
Yeah, and that's my thing. So either they're just going to be like, hey, I was wondering when you Atlanteans were going to show up, or they're going to react with shock and horror, and I'm like, how could Superman not have seen that?
Yeah, we saw you sail over the water. Unless he was just being oblivious on purpose, Yeah, he has super hearing, too. He could have at least heard some muffling going on in the water.
Yeah, and the thing is, okay, well then, I guess every building in Atlantis, including their dome thing...
is soundproof?
It's soundproof.
And lead lined.
Some kind. Yeah, exactly.
It's either lead or some other material, which makes me think about the material in the tri-pointy
trident.
Thing. The trident. Yeah, I knew it had a tri in there, in the trident, which means either the city is made of that material, which can pierce Superman, which makes me think maybe he can't see through that material, or maybe he's not strong enough to face them. So maybe that's kind of the material made of the city, and that's why it's not seeable.
Or let's say he can't see through lead, or whatever this...
Yeah, but he would see the shape of it. He would at least know the shape of it.
Yeah, there would just be a big block of nothing. So there's plant life, or not plant life, sea life and fish and everything, and then there's
someone has to swim out of Atlantis at some point.
Superman worked on a fishing boat.
Oh my God, you're right. You would think he would just spend some time just listening to the waves.
Yeah, isn't there a part where he drowns in Man of Steel or falls in the water?
Oh my God, yes, and he was listening to everything. Oh.
Yes.
Oh no! Okay, honestly, they have to recast Henry Cavill at this point because if you make that Superman canon, how do you go over the fact he skipped so much?
There was a city, of people, and a whole civilization.
But I'm just gonna ignore that because the world needs me right now. How'd that not come up with like?
Well, yeah, but like here's what's gonna happen though. Like seriously, I bet when they show Aquaman, they're gonna have like a retcon where Jason Momoa is bringing Clark Kent back up to the fishing boat. Like, yeah, we met before, right, Clark?
Oh god, is it gonna be like an Obi-Wan Luke Skywalker thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, like, they made no reference to anything magical in the Nolanverse or
the Zack
Man
Snyder
of Steel.
verse. Yeah, there's no such thing as magic. There's no such thing as magic. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no. I mean, like.
There's no hint. There's no hint. The only hint we ever got was LexCorp.
Yeah, and like. The thing is, like, okay, let's just, for the sake of continuity, let's just say, okay, so General Zod is like, hey, Kal-El, there are a bunch of other people, like, in these
Zod is vain for some reason.
Well, no, I'm trying to be the guy who played Zod in the new movie, the guy who
You know what, Superman? And you have to do a lot of heavy breathing. You took my soul from me.
Yeah, I'm defending my planet.
Yeah.
I'm God. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's my
yes!
thing.
Hello, Superman!
Yeah, but that's my thing. Wouldn't Zod, since he had to go from out of the Phantom Zone to Earth, wouldn't he be like, Kal-El, there are a lot of people in skin-tight colored outfits. Like a Universal Power Rangers or something. Have you met them? Because I doubt they'll let me take over this planet.
Yeah, he was traveling...
Even if you die.
The Phantom Zone... No, because he was stuck in the Phantom Zone. Well, he has he has been around the universe. You're right.
Yes!
And so has the civilization. They're just skipping all these planets that they've traveled. There's no hint of any other signs of life.
The Green Lantern Corps?
And that's I think that goes back to my point.
Manhunter?
What? Not even Mars. They didn't even go past Mars. And if they did, they didn't show any signs of life. They could, while the ship was going by, you could have seen a small temple, and that's what could have been the Martian Manhunter's hideout.
Yeah, but they do nothing. And
they had every opportunity. If this was supposed to be a build-up to the Justice League, you had every opportunity to drop Easter eggs, and that's why bringing back my point. Marvel Universe had every opportunity to drop an Easter egg, and they did from Thor onward. Yeah. From Iron Man onward, because Thor is my favorite because of the Infinity Gauntlet, and since then we had the Tesseract and all that kind of stuff. But there's nothing in the DC universe to hint at any future projects. So when you create a future project, how are we supposed to relate it to any of the past projects? Only based on your word.
Like they're going to with Batman, because I really thought it was going to be. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character as Batman.
No.
Even if it wasn't him.
They already said that it's going to be a different Batman.
I know, that's what you told me now. But honestly, before you told me that just now, I thought it was either going to be an older Bruce Wayne. He's like, I need to still fight.
As far as we know, it's Bruce Wayne.
Catwoman died, I don't know what they were going to do. But I thought it was either Joseph Gordon-Levitt or Bruce Wayne. But now it has nothing to do with the Nolanverse. And that makes me mad, because then that means, okay, well, now we're going to have to start from square one again.
Well, they have to start from square one because they don't have anything to reference with Man of Steel, with the Dark Knight franchise.
But the thing is,
and they certainly can't reference Green Lantern.
Yeah, they can't reference Green Lantern.
Even though they had a good name drop, and that was, what's her nose, the African-American woman, the one in charge of the Suicide Squad. As soon as I saw her, I'm like,
Amanda Waller.
Shit. Yeah, Amanda Waller. I'm like, shit, there's going to be a Suicide Squad.
And, that's the thing. So, is the Suicide Squad going to tie into this new Batman?
As far as I know, only based on the villains. We're probably going to be introduced to the villains as just a name drop of some sort, and that's about it.
And, the thing is, I totally believe that the Dark Knight and the Man of Steel took place in the same universe.
You could actually believe that. Because the Dark Knight Rises took over the long universe, and by the time Superman came to being, Batman probably already had his events.
Yeah,
and he was still dealing with his alien stuff. So they were they were dealing with two separate threats at the same time. Superman wasn't involved in politics at the time, so he wouldn't have gone over to Gotham and saved them by the bomb or anything like that. So it's okay.
And that's my point. Like, that's why I thought, okay, and then, it's like, I thought you had died or something. You were and look at Gotham now. Gotham is still being destroyed, but you're not, you stopped being Batman, and he'd be like, yeah, I gave this city everything, and my body can't take it anymore. I saw what happened with...
I think Superman would respect that.
No, but, that's what I thought Batman versus Superman was going to be, honestly.
Yeah. And then we could have had a Dark Knight Returns scenario. Batman goes into the frontier again and just starts kicking ass, but he's a little rusty in his method, so he kind of beats more people up more than he should.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I thought they were going to do before you told me this news a few minutes ago.
Yeah, it would have made so much sense.
Now I have... And, the thing is, okay, you know what? Bruce Wayne, I thought if it was a continuation of the Nolanverse, either as with Robin, whatever, what was his name?
Joseph
Blake? It was something Blake?
Oh, Robin Blake, technically.
Yeah.
Officer Robin Blake.
Yeah.
By the way, which proved to my point, I actually liked, because they could have a canon Robin without having him have to be a Robin. He could have just been another Batman.
Yeah, and that's my thing. That's cool. So if it was either older Robin Blake or an older Bruce Wayne, they die. And because Batman dies, the Justice League needs to be formed.
Yes.
Because these places don't have heroes.
Yes. There needs to be heroes all over the world.
Yeah, and that's my point. And so Batman dies, and they're like, okay, well, Batman wanted everybody to be protected,
could have inspired
so now we need to start the Justice League.
And with this kind of stuff, you could have inspired many other heroes. You could have the Faceless Man. You could have had another Arrow. You could have.
And you guys do understand that there are multiverses for Batman.
Owlman's my favorite by far.
Or you know what? Here's a good idea, DC. I know you're not going to take it, but how about after whatever Batman dies, either the Joseph Gordon-Levitt Batman or the Christian Bale Batman dies in Batman vs. Superman, have the next Batman be Terry McGinnis. Huh?
Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
But then we'd have to have a Bruce Wayne live to teach Terry McGinnis.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
I see what you mean. That they quote unquote die, the heart attack. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can introduce Terry McGinnis. So we can have our
the old
League
Superman
Batman.
and have it advance, and we can have so much more cool things happen.
Yes.
And then he can have a standalone film.
Yes.
Yes, that would be incredible. And
so
in the meantime,
don't have to reboot again.
Yeah. It could be, these could be their own standalone films, and I get that. That's why I am frustrated with the DC Universe, is because they're trying to build what the Marvel Cinematic Universe created. You'll never do it. You can't. You can't, and you never will, because your methods are standalone films, and it works for what they are. Honest to God, when you make standalone films, DC, you deliver. But when you're trying to create something that took so much time
crossover.
and so many planned out, that they're laying out 10 films for the next 5 years?
Yeah. And
that takes incredible depth and planning and execution. I'm afraid, DC, you're not at that point in your film in the film universe to do that yet.
And the thing is, guys, I'm sorry to say this, make a TV show. Seriously.
That's where you guys seem to excel, minus Gotham.
Make a 5-part TV show introducing Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman.
But do it right. Not the Wonder Woman TV show. No.
What do you mean?
Have you ever seen the Wonder Woman movie or the TV show?
Wonder Woman movie or TV show?
Wonder Woman had a TV show.
In the 70s?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't do that. That is what I'm saying. Don't do it.
Fuck you. I'm sorry. Fuck you. That actually was a great show.
It was, but I'm saying don't do that now when you can be a lot grittier.
No, but I don't want to see Wonder Woman
don't get me
as
wrong.
the warrior.
I love that show. I love that show. I love the 80s/90s original jumpsuit Flash.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't want to see Wonder Woman as a warrior when she makes her appearance in Batman vs. Superman.
I want to see her as a queen.
Because the whole thing with Diana is she is compassionate.
She is goddamn lovable.
Yeah, she's compassionate. She's the heart of the team, but she also has strength. Yeah. But
I always thought Martian Manhunter was the heart of the team. Because he's...
Well, I'm talking about the Trinity of Batman, Superman, and...
Oh, yeah. She'll have to be the heart that Martian Manhunter can't be, because you guys didn't deem worthyable. Although, if you see this incredible model, I'll post it, along with the source, along with who created it. I doubt...
post that in this video.
I will put it in this video, because it is definitely what it could be in the Justice League, if they actually took the time.
But that's my point. You know, I don't want to see Wonder Woman as the Amazon. She is more than that. And unfortunately, with Gal Gadot, or however you say her name...
Gal Gadot.
Yeah, I have no idea how you say her last name.
Yeah.
When I saw that picture of her, I did not... Here were the two things I did not think.
Wonder Woman!
No, but here are the two things I did not think. I did not think that, one, this woman... You know, she didn't look like a strong warrior.
She looked like a model.
I know, and that's my thing. And the other thing is...
You know who could have done it really well? And hear me out.
Uh-huh.
Not Olivia Moon, but what's her name? The one from Tron.
Oh, Olivia Wilde?
Olivia Wilde could have done it so perfectly. She's pretty. She's gorgeous.
Yeah, and she can still be kick-ass.
Yeah, she's proven to be kick-ass in many films, from Cowboys vs. Aliens and Tron, especially Tron Legacy. And so she has the dynamic of being an action hero.
Yeah, and with Gal Gadot...
We know nothing about her.
Yeah, I mean, here's just even her MIDB. She's from the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh, that's not good credit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I didn't see either the Amazon warrior, I didn't see that from her, nor did I see someone who would be...
It looks like a cosplayer.
Yeah, I didn't see someone who would genuinely care about the people of Earth and people around her.
You give me
she kind of looked like she would be an airhead.
You put Olivia Wilde in a Wonder Woman costume, I'm afraid she's going to cut my head off.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. But I could, you know, that's my problem with the DCU, the movies. We'll get to the TV show when we talk about Arrow and Flash.
And that'll be the actual video we post.
Yeah.
By the way, we started about this 4 o'clock his time. It's 4 o'clock my time. That's how long we've actually been talking about all this.
Yeah, we've been talking... How long on our Skype call? Let's see. 2 hours and 2 minutes.
It says 9 minutes for me.
2 hours and 9 minutes. Yeah, but that's my thing. I just think that you're not going to... You're not going to make any progress, and I don't want to see a Batman reboot. I'm sorry to all the comic book fans. I don't want to see a Flash movie.
I only do if it's Wally West.
Yeah, I don't want to see a Flash movie. Yeah, and you know why I don't want to see a Flash movie?
Because the show's so awesome.
Yes! Like, before I saw Arrow, I didn't give a crap about Green Arrow.
Same here, but I got into it, and I feel bad that I haven't caught up.
Yeah, and the thing is, I didn't care about Flash. But then I saw The Flash, and, you know, once this season's over, I'm going to binge watch it.
I got 3 seasons to binge watch after this.
Yeah, but that's my thing. Like, there's already a good Arrow thing. There's already a good Flash thing.
People are saying that...
There's not a good Batman thing.
People are saying... who's the actor for Arrow?
Stephen Arnell.
Stephen Arnell is apparently people's wannabe Arrow for the Justice League. And I agree.
Yes!
I agree, because all he has to do is grow out the hair. He's got the wit. He's got the physique. He can still pull it. I could believe him if he was older.
Yeah.
He just has to grow it out. He doesn't have to put on the silly hat or anything.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, like, in the show, in the flashbacks, he has that long hair. So they've got a long hair wig.
Yeah, but they don't have the cap.
No,
the Robin Hood cap.
The cap was... The cap...
Well, it's a comic book. Come
silly.
on. Yeah.
No,
but for the Arrow, I love the outfit. At first I was like, no cap? I'm okay with that.
Well, they changed his outfit a little more later.
Yeah. No, I've seen it. I've seen it. It's really good.
With the mask and everything?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, but that was my point. Like, I want there to be a good Batman show at some point.
Good one. No, we'll just have to do with Arrow.
Yeah, I know. And Arrow basically is Batman, but my point is that I'm not going to go see a Flash movie if they make one.
We can look at Flash movies all the time on the internet.
No, but I'm not going to see a Martian Manhunter movie if they make one.
I will watch Martian Manhunter only if he's part of the Justice League.
I'm not going to watch an Aquaman film if they make one.
The only person I would watch is probably Shazam.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like, Marvel had Captain America, Thor, Hulk, all have their own movies.
And here's why I think with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who I think is a great charismatic actor and I think could be an interesting a villain, I think Shazam might be a redeemable movie for the DC Universe. And hear me out. Because it pursues an aspect of superheroes that we've not seen. Every superhero we've seen is grown up. They've created their own identities. They've filled up. They've grown up into their positions. Thor's become a man. I mean, they're just growing people. But no one has thought about... I mean, that's why I love Shazam, is because he's this kid who's given an immense responsibility and in this big physique and like all of this. And he still has the mental capacity of a 10-year-old. That's something we have not really seen in a superhero movie. And I would love to see that. If they can actually have that heart and to see like at the heart of it, he's just a kid. That could be just the line at the end of the line, like, who are you? He can just say, I'm just some kid. And actually have that be like the tagline or something. That could be really good. That is something that they should have pursued, not this kind of catch up to Marvel. There are actual storylines that actually have heart in the DC Universe. And when you avoid all of that for your own self-gratification of trying to catch up to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which we know cannot be done.
Yeah.
That is selfish and just why I can't watch any DC films.
But, like, that's my point. Like, I'm not going to go see, these standalone films for Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, whoever else they decide to throw in, because I don't care. The Marvel Universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has made me care about Captain America. And not that I hate Captain America, but usually, without the Marvel build-up, I wouldn't have gone and seen the Captain America movie.
Every time I heard of Captain America, I used to think of the guy in the silly frolics. And,
with the like little wings on the side of his head.
Yeah, no one took it seriously until we had the Captain America movie. You're like, oh crap, this guy's really cool.
Damn, yeah. Like, I would not have seen Thor if it wasn't for the build-up.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I saw Thor. I'm not, okay. I'll be completely honest, I'm not glad I saw The Incredible Hulk, but...
the only one that's, I don't... I mean, but as a standalone movie, it's pretty good.
No.
Better than the other one? Better than Eric Bana? Come on.
Barely.
Yeah. See,
it's
not watchable,
sliver.
But we understand what it was building up to. If anything is worth watching for, it's the leaks. Because there's so much... The only movie I wish they had redone is The Hulk, because all they had to focus on... The only thing was that they were... It was just a big thing that Captain America's coming back, Because they kept talking about the super soldier serum. And the fact that... And Robert Downey Jr. comes in and saying, we're forming a team. Gee, wonder what that could lead to,
Yeah, but that's my thing. But
those are the only scenes worth watching about is the Easter eggs. Not the actual Hulk story itself, because you've seen it and you've read it a whole bunch of times. Guy gets zapped with gamma rays, has identity issues for the rest of his life.
But that's the point. For me,
they could have done...
even the bad Marvel universes...
Sonic Hulk would have been a better storyline.
They made me watch The Incredible Hulk because of the build-up to the Avengers.
Right. Now, going back, if you have not watched any Marvel movies, these are the ones... No, I was going to say, no, screw it. No, don't avoid any of them. Because they're all good build-up movies.
Yeah.
And I would say...
Some are better than others, but...
Some are better than others. I think Iron Man 3 is not as good as Thor 2, which is not as good as Winter Soldier, which is better than all of them, except for Avengers. And Iron Man is definitely worth watching,
Yeah, Iron Man 1, Captain America 1 and 2,
Iron Man 2 is
Thors-
actually pretty fun at sometimes. It's just that it has structural issues.
Yeah, but the thing is, by the point where it got fun, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I'm just
You
like,
had a villain you didn't care about, and
stupid bird, and Tony acted like he did in the comics.
which I thought by the first movie we were establishing isn't going to happen because you're a new person. First of all,
and
why
that's
does
the
he
thing.
need 2 phases within the first phase? You could have just added all this into the Avengers initiative that they worked with in the first movie. There was really no need to make the second movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But I don't care about DCU. I like Man of Steel, and I loved the Nolanverse.
And as standalone films, they're fantastic. I thought the Superman film, minus the end, was pretty good. I thought the Batman trilogy...
Minus the end?
Minus the end, because the ending makes no sense. How can you snap a guy's neck after all the morals that you've been working for, and that traumatizing you, and they just move on 5 minutes later?
Oh, okay, yes, I will agree. That was bad.
That was I'm like, whoa, Superman just killed someone? What do you mean you're just going to work now?
Yep. Yeah, but that's my thing. Like, okay, yeah, that was pretty bad. But I love those films. But, like, I want to see Batman versus Superman because I've always wanted to see Batman and Superman fight.
And actually, at this point, people want to hear the line in The Dark Knight Returns. You want to hear it said in The Dark Knight Returns? I don't care anymore.
I'm the guy who beat you.
Because it doesn't. It's not as applicable. It's supposed to happen years after the Justice League, years after Bruce Wayne, when he's close to death. This is way after the establishment of the Justice League, and not in his early life. It has no place there.
Yeah, but that's my thing. Like, that's it. Like, I don't care about the Justice League. I don't really care to see a movie. I just want to see Batman and Superman fight. Don't put other heroes into our movie.
It doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
It feels
my goodness.
It feels
We've been recording for an hour and 4 minutes.
Yeah, this is going to probably be a multi-parter, and I apologize if I'm just saying this now.